Next step. The piece that you denuded is now going to get cut into cubes. Now we're going to get cut into cubes. Are we all familiar with what an inch looks like? If you don't have a ruler, you should have one. Okay, you should have one, borrow somebody's. It's critical that you know what a 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch cube looks like. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fabricate this into cubes. You can take one cube back to your table, each, one, and use it as your model. I suggest that you take the cube and put it in front of you, the model, and put it in front of you, and cut every cube to the model. Because if you cut one and then don't use the model, your cubes are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So don't do it. Put the model in front of you, put your cubes down, and focus on what's in front of you until you get used to what 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch looks like. So once you've been totally denuded, once you got everything out that you need to get out, then you're going to come in. I want you to first square off one edge. Just square it off. Because we need to cut a nice even slice all the way down. When you're cubing, especially now early on in your career, you need to learn knife to cut. And that knife is only going to go where you tell it to go. So I'm going to suggest that you take your hand and you put your finger over the blade like so. Okay? This now becomes an extension of your arm. If you hold it like this, then you're constantly twisting, constantly twisting. If I put my finger over it, this is now my steering wheel, and it kind of straightens everything out to become an extension of your arm. I want you to come over to me, sight down, measure approximately an inch, and cut a strip all the way through, nice and even all the way down. See, I have an inch here, I have an inch here, I got way more than an inch here. I'm going to show you what to do that in just a minute. Cut again. Cut all the way through, getting your 1 inch strips. Okay. Now, we have 1 inch wide, or thick, so to speak, but we got way more than an inch the other way. So you take your piece, you can do one at a time, it's better. Square it off, one side. So you got a nice straight line now. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make another inch. So now I have an inch by an inch by an inch. Okay? And I got way more than an inch this way. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and slice all your strips to 1 inch long strips. Slice all these pieces into 1 inch strips. If you can't make an inch, for example, here I have an inch. Okay, got an inch by an inch. Here I don't. But I can get a couple out of here. So maybe I'll just square off one end, square off the other end, and my middle is about where I want it to be. Okay? Go through all your pieces. Okay, so here I can split right down the middle. Take this one, I'm going to square off both sides of this one. This one here kind of starts out thick and then narrows down. So let me make my inch up here. And then let me cut this off here. So you've got the power of the knife. You've got the adjuster here. You make it the size that you need it to be. Once you've got all your 1 inch strips, then you're going to go ahead and square off one end. Doing a lot of squaring here, right? Squaring off, we'll cut strips. That's okay. But that's all knife technique. It's all controlled. You're learning now. Make a strip. You square it off to one end. Now I want you to go ahead and cut 1 inch cubes. Now see, I got down to a cube. I have this here. This is usable trim. Okay, this is usable trim. If it looks like it needs an adjustment, give it an adjustment. thing, back over here. Square off my one end to start. Cube, 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 too thin.
You're not using a slice.
No, I'm using a boning knife. This, at one time, was long like that. Okay? So this is typically what you're using. You can use your slicing knife, that's fine. If you're cutting cubes, you can use your slicing knife, that's fine.
And those cubes, what do you use?
These will go up to the kitchens that I use for these two. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19. Square. Now, you're going to cut that whole side, that whole piece of the nudity. You're going to cut the whole thing for cubes. And you're going to display them so that I can see them, just like this. I need to see some air, some space in between them. If you display them to me like this, your grade will look like this. Okay? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Everybody take a cube.